Alright, hello everyone, Wardfire here, welcome to Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Case 3, the case of the Mystified Murderess. Sounds pretty intriguing. And yeah, like the two other games, I think Holmes' introduction is the exact same. We have about all the regulars here. Mr. Pike, who knows all the gossip, Lestrade, Murray, and Meek are always very interesting. We have the sleuthing tools.
I think you'll find these tools to be positively invaluable as you endeavor to help Holmes solve these cases.
Reading newspapers, very important. Well, looking through the directory, going to places. Yeah, clue history, hints, watching the videos and going to the judge. Yeah, the points that I don't really care about. And yeah, let's see what this is, this game. Within the sitting room at 221B Baker Street, Dr. John Watson recounts the daily news for Holmes as the great detective listens, hoping the Times contains a case worthy of his sleuthing skills.
Society burglar strikes again. Series of burglaries. 6 over the period from June 2nd to June 17th. On July 2nd, the 7th occurred at the home of Sir Sanford Leeds. Cleopatra tiara stolen, says. As in the other cases, no sign of extensive search by the thief, and only one piece of jewelry involved. Victims elsewhere at the time. Here's a complete list of the particulars, Holmes, if you'd care to read it.
I believe you'll find him in the study.
How do you do, gentlemen? I am Gerald Locke.
Please be seated, Mr. Locke. How can we be of service?
3 days ago, Guy Clarendon was found murdered at Halliday's. It's preposterous, but Miss Frances Nolan has been charged and is being detained at the criminal court, Old Bailey.
Frances Nolan. Ah, yes. Sister of Loretta Nolan. Only surviving heirs of Sir Malcolm Nolan, founder of the Aberdeen Navigation Company.
I seem to recall that Sir Malcolm and Lady Nolan were killed when some lunatic threw a bomb into their carriage. It seems to me that later I heard something about it being a case of mistaken identity. Wasn't one of their little offspring in the carriage with them at the time?
Yes, it was Loretta, Frances's sister. She was only 4. Miraculously, she was uninjured.
Mr. Locke, I've heard that you are a suitor for Miss Frances Nolan's hand, are you not?
Yes.
And was it not also true that she was being courted by Guy Clarendon?
Unfortunately, yes.
Have you any idea why Frances Nolan was charged with the crime?
Well, she was discovered over the body with a pistol in her hand.
That would do it.
But you don't understand. Frances is totally incapable of murder, not even of a scoundrel such as Guy Clarendon.
Scoundrel? But he's from such blue blood. Also, if I'm not mistaken, he's an accomplished batsman for the West London Cricketers. A ranked fencer in international competition.
He was also a bit of a bounder, Watson.
What an understatement. Guy Clarendon was excessively fond of cards and strong drink. His father had all but disinherited him. I tried to tell Frances that Clarendon was no good, but to no avail. And now look at the mess she's in. Will you help?
Most certainly.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Now, I forgot to have a paper ready, so to write down names. So, let's see if I can remember anything. Okay, we have Nolan. What was his name? Clarence? Something like that? Clarence? Okay. And his name was Locke. Well, I mean, he was there, so we don't really need to talk to him again, maybe, but I'm probably gonna recognize the name of the dude. That was it, right? The Aberdeen Navigation Company. They talked about, and yeah, okay. Well, this definitely sounds like, I mean, it's murder and stuff, but sounds like our gossipy friend might have some info on this case about things. Because this is like society stuff. Maybe. And we should also look in with, I would like to just see what Mr. Lestrade has to say, because he's hilarious. So, you know. Alright. Well, we should start with the newspapers, which is usually what the first episode is all about. Okay, so we have newspapers from 1890, June and July. Okay, let's see here. Births. Lord and Lady Rasmussen. Ooh. Twins. Rupert L. and Russell M. Okay. Lady Dufresne, a son. Captain A.C. Curtis. Duncan of a son. Marriages. Albany W. Australia by special license. What is by special license? Because they talk about that in Pride and Prejudice. I still don't know what that means. Frederick John Ingleby. MRCS LRCP. James Ingleby of Putney. Annie May, elder daughter C. Wilcoxon of Barnes by cablegram. And some other people were married here. Tracy T. Tucker, M.A. Sidney Mitchell Cook. Stock Exchange, youngest son of the late Edward Cook, Kingston Hill, Surrey, to Annie Raikes, third surviving daughter of the late Charles William Barclay. Deaths. 13th of June at the British Legation, Stockholm. Oh. Of information of the lungs, Mr. Corbett, Her Britannic Majesty's Envoy Extraordinaire and Minister Plenipotentiary, to His Majesty the King of Sweden and Norway. 1890. Oh, did we still own Norway back then? Yeah. Oh, we didn't have Finland anymore, but... yeah, I guess Norway was still part of Sweden. Wow, I don't know my history well enough. I really don't. But yeah, Norway was probably part of Sweden. Yeah. Or well, Sweden sort of took Norway, but you know. 16th of June, a little brick hill near Bletchley. Asphodel, the beloved child of Alexander and Katie Finlay, aged 1 year. Oh, death! Oh my god! Oh no, I'm so sorry. He's like a little baby. Hampshire near Berkeley, Marsgrave, beloved son and heir of Finnebrook and Mabel Sumler, aged 3 years. Oh no. Funerals. Finsterwald's florist. Bouquets, dress sprays, loose-cut flowers, wreaths, whatever, for the dearly departed, in memoriam, West Central District. Personal and C. These are all... some of these are always kind of interesting. Good luck, farewell, and Godspeed, Caitlin Ann, on your schooling and journey to university. You are loved. Wait. Sounds like it's a woman going to university. Oh, really? Are they really allowed? I hope so. £8 reward. Necklace, ornate family heirloom with portrait in center circled by gems. Whoever will take same to 20 Holloway Street. Henry Murgatroyd. Please send along monies and forwarding address to G. Krem's family, Bedlam Street Post Office. Carpets for the finest and richest display. Call it Dinwoodies. Woolley, Lund and Judd are selling out. Large selection of industrial machinery for a variety of use. J. Pettigrew, Sloth. For millinery, go to Sherwood's. New shapes, fine French flowers, dressmaking and connection. Latest styles assured. Handsomest ladies of London drink Dunder tea because it removes blemishes from the skin by purifying the blood and regulating the system. Oh yes, I'm sure it does. Burglaries cease. Not burglaries. Burglaries. A big difference. Burglaries are high-profile burglaries, you see. After a series of high-profile burglaries, exactly, burglaries, perpetrated on some of London's oldest entitled families, Scotland Yard has announced that the increased police presence in the city's best neighborhoods has brought an end to the reign of the so-called society burglar. Speculation is rampant as to the identity of the suspected thief. One theory has the thief of foreign descent, well placed in a diplomat's office. Of course. But with no criminal in custody and no evidence, nothing is known. Foreign news from the Reuters agency. Fatal fire in New York. Fire broke out today in an apartment on the upper story of a house in the city. Believing all other means to escape to be cut off, the occupants of the room jumped from the window into the street below. One of them was killed and 7 others were injured in their fall. Oh wow, but I mean, most of them still survived. Ow. I mean, injured, but... The cholera in Rome. Cholera returns for the past 24 hours report 115 cases and 36 deaths in the province of Brindisi, being a decrease of 32 cases and 12 deaths as compared with the preceding day. These figures include 11 cases and 3 deaths in the town of Brindisi, 44 cases and 17 deaths in Francavilla Fontana, 23 cases and 10 deaths in Latiano, and 20 cases and 1 death in Bonvito. 3 cases and 2 deaths are reported from Codigoro. I don't know. Trieste, June 19th. From noon yesterday until the same hour today, there have been 3 fresh cases of cholera and 1 death in the city. And in Fiume, some more cholera. Ooh, Italy and Zanzibar. Later explanations of the difference between Italy and Zanzibar show that the Sultan has refused to ratify the cession of the islands Kismain and Sala, demanded by Italy as a compensation for the alleged insult of the late Sultan to King Humbert. The British consul at this place does not approve the course of the Italian consul in hauling down the Italian flag and suspending relations with the Sultan. Ooh, Ottawa, Canada. It is stated in official circles that no action will be taken at present by either the Dominion or British governments in regard to protecting British sealing vessels in Bering Sea. Question as to the right of the United States to exclusive jurisdiction will be, for the present, to be held in abeyance, as on good authority it is learned that the British government is seeking the cooperation of the several maritime powers of the world with a view to joining in the dispute of the United States' claim and a reference of the question to arbitration. Okay. Nothing really, I think, that pertained to our case there. Right, next one. June 28th, 1890. Here we have some... Oh yeah, true, the burglaries, I guess. But here we have burglaries that Watson was talking about. Could have a bearing on the case, though, since they talked about it. You never know. To the editor of the Times. Sir, the press and the public generally should force our timid, halting officials to take energetic action against certain forms of crime. May I suggest that? 1. Any person committing a burglary or robbery from the person accompanied by violence or brutality be flogged. 2. Any burglar or other thief having upon him a revolver or other distinctly murderous weapon be flogged. Okay, with or without a trial? And still don't think that's the right way to go, but sure. 3. The police force be increased, especially mounted patrols in certain localities. 4. Certain constables be armed with revolvers. 5. The police generally have a freer hand in dealing with crimes of robbery or violence. 6. More activity among the members of the police force be insisted on by the Chief Commissioner. 7. The public should be officially informed as to the legality or otherwise of using firearms in defense of their lives and property. Experience shows, however, the futility of expecting the authorities ever to take the lead in these matters. They never do anything until forced. Yours faithfully, one of the public. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get the point, but if you give too much freedom with firearms, and to the police in a way, the flip side is that a lot of people will start abusing that power and abuse others with their power. Working Men's Vigilance Committee. Dedicated to patrolling the streets of London, we commit to you, dear reader, our dedication to seeing the rough and dangerous areas washed clean of the vermin and ilk that threaten to turn our streets into chaos. So long have the police been unable to protect our streets. Therefore we take on the responsibility to police our own. Your faithful servant, Philip Eddleton. Retraction. In yesterday's paper we mistakenly reported Rose Xaron dead. She's alive and well. Our apologies. Lol. Okay, deaths. African fever on passage to Canada in SS Vancouver, Egerton A. Dennison. From Toronto, age 25. At Barely, by a fall from his house, Edward Barton Gardner, surgeon, Indian Army, civil surgeon of Bareilly, greatly loved and deeply regretted. In memoriam. On 17th June 1887, fell asleep after rapid consumption at Bournemouth, Patricia Ogorzelek, the dearly beloved and daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Maximilian Ogorzelek, greatly mourned. In most loving memory, Keith. General Willingford growing weaker. Cheshire, June 27th. This evening a report from General Willingford states that he is growing weaker hourly. He still retains consciousness. Little Egypt makes a hit. Last night at Tivoli was the scene of a novel divertissement. Little Egypt, that agile and beautiful exponent of the graceful, sensuous oriental danse du ventre, entertained all present with her lithesome swaying body. A nimble-fingered pianist, who was up in profane music, sounded the opening chords of the wicked dance, and, with writhing and twisting body, Little Egypt stepped out the measure while all the men looked on with open-mouthed astonishment. Louder and louder banged the piano. More and more rapidly the abdominal muscles of the dancer twitched. Her eyes gleamed with the excitement of it all, and her bosom heaved with tantalizing irregularity. Wow, who wrote this? With a crash of chords, the dance ceased, and the men were left with silence, broken only by long drawn-out sighs from a couple of the gentlemen. Little Egypt has come to England by way of Egypt and Syria. Vague rumors persist that she was deported for illegal political activities in those countries, but quite a few Englishmen are glad to have her here. Yeah. Oh, William Breeze, killed by lightning. Again, we've seen him in the newspaper before. Oldenburg jewels stolen. Also seen that before in a newspaper. The third body found, the body of Robert Pryor, one of the 3 unfortunate men who met their deaths in the severe storm that raged off the Channel of Dover this past Saturday, was found floating upon the water. As was naturally expected, it was in very bad state. The bodies of other 2 men, Manor Tully and Reginald Surgood III, have not been recovered. Port of London clash. A series of demonstrations of loitering and thuggery were clamped down by the police at Port of London docks this Monday. No serious injuries were reported. Of contention are working conditions, hours, wages, and safety. Police. James Wilder, 20, was charged with assaulting constables 225H and 113H while in the execution of their duty, and Priscilla Fontaine was charged with attempting to rescue him from custody. Okay. Well, nothing there, except, I guess, the burglaries. I don't know, but okay. London, July 3rd, 1890. Personal. R. Ransford, you promised on your honor to communicate in June. Why find me out to torture me thus? Trusting you as you asked, I have made engagements I cannot fulfill. Mind and body, I am seriously ill. So I deserve all this from you? Anyhow, tell me the worst. Suspense is torture and not like you. What rhymed? Lions murdered in Hyde Park. Yep, we've read that one before. Glasgow. The pig iron warrant market closed at an all-time high today, with prices reaching 55 shillings 3 dimes? No. I'm not sure what that says, but I'm presuming the S is shillings. Analysts were hesitant in stating the reasons for the recent market surge. Middlesbrough warrants were similarly affected, rising to 53 shillings and something. Latest intelligence from our correspondents. Rome. The statement that a council had been held at the Vatican on Irish affairs is not credited in well-informed quarters here. Ottawa. The British government has requested Dominion government to take no action until a settlement has been arrived regarding the sealing claim of the United States. It is stated that these several maritime powers which have been invited to take part in the settlement support the contention of the British government that the Bering Sea is not a closed sea. It is also stated that claims for damages through the seizure of British sealers by United States cruisers will also be submitted to arbitration when the question of jurisdiction is taken up. Ooh, someone is in Egypt. Sir Evelyn Baring will proceed to Egypt via Marseille on the 6th. During his absence, Mr. Portal would be in charge of the British diplomatic agency. To the editor of the Times. Sir, surely it is time that some effectual steps should be taken to curb the ambition of our burglars, but be they society or not, and if necessary by legislation. Prevention is better than cure, and I agree with those who think that a fox terrier in the house is the best means of giving the alarm. But something more than a dog is required. I would suggest a cat, besides penal servitude, in all cases of burglary, whether the burglar succeed in carrying away anything or not. The cat, in the sense in which I referred to it, has been most successful as a deterrent in case of personal robbery, with the violence and other crimes. Why should it not be at once applied to our burglars, whose calling necessarily involves personal violence? Here we have the society burglar. Take climbs to £14,000. That elusive and so far successful burglar, commonly known as the society burglar, has gone away with jewels valued at £14,000 by the 7 victims to date. Speculation continues as to the identity of the burglar, who seems to be acquainted with the various and sometimes ingenious hiding places of his victims' jewels. The other striking aspect of the modus operandi are the taking of only one select piece each time, and the occurrence of all thefts when the victims are not at home. We have provided for the interest of our readers a list of the various jewels stolen and their values. Okay, this could potentially be interesting. R. Baker, diamond stick pin, £500. Harding, emerald bracelet, £1,500. Richmond, diamond bracelet, £2,000. B. Levin, ruby earrings, £1,000. Darth, diamond necklace, £3,000. Judd, diamond pendant, £1,000. Leeds, diamond tiara, £5,000. Accent on docks. Yes, the Lion Tamer and the Circus, yeah. Clarendon Press new books. Shakespeare's a dramatic artist, yeah, that was the last one too. Hospitals. The Royal Albert Asylum. Lancaster, maybe. For the care, education, and training of idiots, imbeciles, and weak-minded children and young persons of the northern counties. Established financial provision from public subscription. Voluntary commitment supporting the Lunacy Act. Inquiries to Dr. R.A. Kimley. Wow. This whole thing is just so offensive. It's crazy. Hotels and company apartments, holidays, private hotel. Large and small suites of rooms handsomely furnished, unsurpassed for cleanliness, comfort, cuisine, and moderate terms. The Bailey's Hotel. Large suites with rich and substantial surrounds, elegant dining, and stylish service. Royalty served. That was July 3rd, so we have the last one, July 4th, 1890 as well. Ooh, Jack the Ripper. Whitechapel visited again by Jack the Ripper. A murder committed last night in this district harkens back to Jack the Ripper. A workman passing through Backchurch Lane in the extreme south end of Whitechapel came upon the body of a woman murdered and mutilated in a most horrible fashion. The head was severed completely from the body and lay a little apart. Both arms have been amputated with the skill of a surgeon. One lay under the trunk, the other was a little apart from the body. As in the similar cases in which the assassin was not disturbed in his work, the cruel knife had been thrust into the body of the victim at the wrist and then ripped along the median line downward till the abdomen was laid open, poor creature completely disemboweled. The victim was, like the others, an outcast woman. Does Jack still live and work his gruesome work? Unfortunates in the slum are in a state of terror once again. Personal. J.M. to all concerned, and he cast down the pieces of silver and went and hanged himself. Okay. Pretty sure everyone knows the Bible. Why? Okay. Lost largest St. Bernard, near Prince of Wales, Harrow Road. Had new collar and muzzle, coloured with dark head and shoulders. Large reward when brought to Pall Mall Club, Waterloo Place. Entertainments. Milo the Mayor, the celebrated magnetist at Princess Hall, Piccadilly, will produce his wonderful experiments of new mesmerisms. So many new words. Mesmerisms. And is prepared to magnetize a lady or gentleman from the audience. Yeah, that shouldn't be dangerous. I'm pretty sure he can't make magnetic fields strong enough in 1890 to be dangerous for living creatures. But I mean, yeah, don't play with strong magnets, children. Royal Italian Circus. Carmen Albuera with the finest equestrian entertainment ever seen in London. Oh yeah. Japanese Village. The only one in the kingdom, patronized by royalty and thousands of people from all parts. The coolest and best ventilated place of amusement in London and fashionable summer resort. A miniature Japanese town. New and astounding entertainments, humorous and other sketches by leading artists from Japan daily. 12,358. The charge to see all is 1 shilling. Children 6, whatever that is. Also Japanese Village. Sporting, second-hand sporting guns. Mountain climbing equipment, cricket equipment. Okay. Society burglar still at large. After a month of jewellery burglaries from some of London's most fashionable homes, Scotland Yard reports little progress in the identification and apprehension of the so-called society burglar. The victim of the latest theft, Lady Leeds, has become so overwrought by the invasion of her bedroom by this unknown man, because it can apparently not be a woman, or any other gender identity, and by the loss of her prized diamond tiara that she has been hospitalized at the suggestion of her physician. Although some impetus Although any impetus to attack the increasing problem of crime should be welcomed, it is unfortunate that the impetus comes more strongly when the class of victim is expanded. Yes, very true. To reform the House of Lords. Lord Salisbury introduced in the House of Lords a bill to reform the constitution of that body. The measure proposes that not more than 3 life peers shall be appointed yearly, these to be drawn from the judges of the superior courts, rear admirals, major generals, ambassadors, and privy councillors, the Queen also having the power to appoint 2 other yearly not qualified. The motion was approved. Okay, latest intelligence from correspondence. France and Italy. Rejection of the Franco-Italian Maritime Convention by the French Chamber has produced a most disagreeable impression here and will undoubtedly strengthen any tendency towards a German alliance. America, Washington. The Venezuelan Treaty ratified. United States Senate went into secret session at 2:40 o'clock and took up and ratified the long-pending treaty providing for the adjustment of the Venezuelan claims. Publications. Second edition of Future Mechanics, Hydraulics in the Modern World, a treatise of the use of hydraulics in everyday life. Worthington and Sons announces its forthcoming printing of the famed author David Belltower. The Solstice Treaty can finally be published and tell the truth of it all. Simfields and Sons Limited, Life is Like a Beanstalk by Winfred de Meyer, a celebrated look at the new field of existentialism and a materialistic Western society, for purchase through the noted publisher Simfield and Sons Limited. Okay, so not really anything. I mean, the Cited Burglar is on a lot of these, so right now I'm kind of like assuming that it has something to do with that. But I mean, if it doesn't, then frankly these newspapers said nothing, but we might come across something that makes us go back to the newspapers, I guess. But at the moment, the newspapers didn't really give us anything. We don't really know enough. So we should start going to our regulars and, you know, talking to people, basically. Next episode, I mean, definitely Nolan. Look at, the body of Clarence and stuff like that, so yeah, totally. Anyways, that's it for today, so we're gonna do that in the next episode. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see ya.